And Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok took to Twitter to thank US President Donald Trump after he announced he was ready to remove his country from a US blacklist of state sponsors of terrorism, a major goal of Khartoum after a compensation deal over past attacks. Sudan is one of 4 nations branded by Washington as a state sponsor of terrorism, along with Iran, North Korea and Syria, severely impeding economic development, with few major foreign investors willing to run afoul of US laws. Sudan has been seeking for years to remove the designation, a legacy of former dictator Omar al-Bashir's welcome of al-Qaeda founder Osama bin Laden in the 1990s. While Trump has authority to remove Sudan as a state sponsor of terrorism, both the administration and lawmakers have been seeking a package that would compensate victims and families of attacks, namely al-Qaeda's 1998 bombings of the US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. And increasing cases of the coronavirus has led to overburdened health system in different parts of the world, leading to stadiums and even ice rinks being converted into health facilities. India is increasingly becoming more involved in the search for a vaccine, as it is one of the worst hit countries. This comes as the world recorded over 40 million cases, more than 27 million recoveries and over 1 million deaths.
As the coronavirus cases topple past 40 million, most health systems in the world are overwhelmed by the surge in coronavirus cases. In Spain, the government declared a state of emergency as some hospitals announced that they do not have the capacity to admit more patients. Some health facilities have even had to use beds usually reserved for burns patients for COVID-19 patients. Meanwhile, in India, the country is playing an increasingly active and central role in the development, manufacturing and possible distribution of several possible COVID-19 vaccines. The country, which has been one of the worst hit by the coronavirus, has recorded over 7 million cases. Ireland, which has recorded over 500,000 cases, plans to close majority of its economy in a second COVID-19 lockdown. The country will be moving into the highest lockdown tier in the next 6 weeks. This will include non-essential shops closing, a 5-kilometer travel limit for exercise, and no gatherings except for tightly controlled weddings and funerals being permitted. Iran is also among the countries introducing tight restrictions for its citizens. This includes a mandatory city-wide mask rule, which was implemented, with those violating it being forced to pay a fine of $1.6. The country is facing the worst outbreak in the Middle East, with over 500,000 cases and more than 30,000 deaths.